those that are in Web3, really building, really doing it, come and teach us a little bit about how they're doing it so that we can use it to continue to build the space together. And we are honored to be here with the High creators who are doing amazing things in the metaverse with their Haikun NFT project. If you guys haven't seen, we have game night and a lot of other workshops that have happened and are yet to come. So this week we will actually be talking about how to create custom avatar movements and then import them into spatial. So I'm going to let them take it away because they're going to show us an easy way to get it done and then try to experiment and see if we can find out some new ways to get some really cool custom movements and kind of watch their workflow. So make sure all you need to do is download Blender, which is a free software, which isn't necessary for the first part of the segment, and then also Blender or Unity. So Unity and Blender, that's all you need, and they're both free and will help you do lots of things. So the High creators, I will let you take it away. And again, thank you for being here and everyone that's watching.
Thank you for the warmest welcome that we have. One of the warmest welcomes that we have received in the metaverse. So yeah, like what Fossil said, this is going to be a workshop to get everybody going with custom movement inside of spatial. I'm gonna be showing the first part, which you're not gonna need Blender. You're just gonna need Unity and Mixamo or something, or an auto rigger that maybe has some animations library that you can download the animation from. And for the later part, which is the kind of experimental part, I'm going to be making a custom animation all the way from Blender and exporting it to work with Unity and then to Space. So without further ado, I'm going to start. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you're going you're going to go to your Unity folder, and in that Unity folder, you're going to get a starter template from Spatial that you can download from their website. And for this particular purpose, we're gonna name it custom animation. So that there, you're going to open your Unity Hub, and in your Unity Hub, you're going to import that new. You're gonna look for custom animations. You're gonna add it. So the latest version that the Unity editor is permitted in Spatial is the 2021.3.21f1. You're gonna want to get that one for anything that's going to be built inside of Spatial, because that's the one that's optimized for all the visual scripting nodes that they're currently making available. You could also use the first edition that they made available, which was the point 0.8 F1, but strongly recommend you use this one. So we're gonna open the scene. I did want to mention, I told you that you don't need Blender, but you do need uh, a model that is ready to be a custom avatar inside of Spatial. You could do that with the previous videos that we have done with the raw DAO, and after you follow that, you can then apply that the thing that we're doing today. If not, Mixamo specifically has characters available for you to use inside of Spatial as well. I don't know, actually. I don't know if they meet the specifications, but they should be okay. So for this specific video, we're going to use a Haikun that I personally prepared, and I know that it's gonna work inside of Spatial. By the way, if anybody at any point has any questions or a specific um, or any specific anything that they would like me to go over in the video, you could just pop it in the chat, and I'll be keeping an eye out, or Mocaso can flag me. But yeah, the first time that you're going to be opening a Unity scene, it's probably gonna be a little while because it's compiling everything. But after the first time, it's gonna open fairly quick. In the meantime, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go over to mixing. So in your browser, type mixml.com. I'm already logged in, but I'm gonna log out. It's pretty easy. All you gotta do is basically uh, connect your Google account, or wait. So you gotta sign up if you haven't, or you can just log in using your different accounts that you might have connected. Or in my case, I'm gonna continue Google, and just like that, you should have access to their library. So I did mention that I wanted to experiment doing a little like zombie character, and since I'm gonna be using Haiku as a 3D model, it's gonna be that kind of a zombie Haiku, which we actually have a space built a long time ago featuring that. So it's kind of fun. We're gonna be updating it maybe soon. So once you're here in Mixable, you can go ahead and look for the specific animation that you might want. For example, we want zombie, and here you're gonna have listed all of the zombie-like animations that you have available. We're gonna hold on that for a while. We're gonna go over to our open scene, and like I mentioned on the first workshop, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you have the latest version of the SDK. So you're going to check for updates, and here's an update available. We're going to hit yes. Just going to let it do its thing. I think we're good to go. Like I said on the previous video, I always like to build on top of something, like give a little bit more context. And since Spatial has all of these examples already available, we're going to go ahead and open the spatial item scene. And in the scene folder, we're going to select the icon that says environment, and we're going to double click it. And that should load the spatial island scene. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare my scene for the custom animation. So the first thing that we're gonna do is, like I said, we're gonna do an emote that every avatar that you are currently wearing is gonna be able to do. So that's like the wave, or like the clap, or like the churning butter dance emote. Like every avatar that you have can do. We're gonna do that first, and to do that, it's fairly simple. We're going to go back to Mixamo. We're gonna do, I don't know. Let's do a zombie scream emote. So that way you can like scream at everybody. They get scared and you run away. And once you have it selected, you can maybe tweak a little bit the animation, but that's to your liking. We're gonna hit download. You're gonna make sure that in the format you select FBX for Unity. And this is for Unity specifically, since we're not going to be filtering the model to Blender. We're going to specify from the get-go that it's for Unity. So that's going to allow us to import it directly into our scene. you're gonna leave the skin with the skin option, and the rest is gonna be default. Then you're gonna hit download. You'll see that it already downloaded down here, and in your scene, we're going we're going to go over to art, models, and inside of the models, we're going to create a new folder. We're going to rename this zombie green. Just, oh my god, just a minute. And inside of that folder, we are going to look for the downloaded animation, which is this one right here, zombie screen. We're going to drag it into our editor inside of our folder. You can see that it actually shows up with the model preview and everything. We're going to hit this little arrow and it's going to lay out all of the components inside of the model. Give me a second. Oh, sorry about that. So once you click on the arrow, you're going to be able to see all of the components inside of the FBX that you downloaded from Mixer. Everything from the mesh to the actual prefab. But what interests us in this specific case is the animation, which is this little triangle over here. So, but before that, we got to make sure that Unity recognizes the skeleton that the model has as human, because spatial only deals with humanoid rigs. So we're going to click on our downloaded model. In the inspector, we are going to click on the rig tab, which is going to give us the rig settings. And in the animation type, we are going to click on humanoid. You're going to hit apply, and no errors should be present at this moment. Once you do that, then we can go ahead and actually you can confirm that everything is okay if you see the little avatar icon right here and if you see a check mark over here. So once you have this, you can go ahead and click on the animation icon, and to extract it from the FBX, you're going to hit Control B, and there you can see that it actually kind of duplicated it or extracted it from the model. Now you could leave this right here, but we're not going to be using it for the time being. Right? You could leave it if for some reason or some error you accidentally uh, delete the animation. You can just go ahead and export it again. But once you have this, the only thing that is left to do is to prepare your avatar. Ah, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Is to prepare the the game object that is going to be the holder of the animation for you to play the emote. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to game object. We're going to create a empty. This empty, I always like to make sure that everything is at the origin, so you can just go ahead and type 000 right here. We're going to rename this into zombie green. Then we're going to add a component to that empty that we just renamed, and we're going to type spatial, and you're going to look for avatar animation. You're going to click it, and there you can see that it actually prompts you for a target clip, and the target clip is the thing that we extracted from the model right here. We're just going to drag this over to this field. We're going to drop it right there. Then you should be able to drag the whole game object into your folder, and it'll create a prefab with the zombie stream object that has the avatar animation tied to it. And we need a prefab because to upload the custom animation to facial, we need a prefab to input into their field. We're going to hit the little gear symbol at the top right here. That's gonna come to the facial window. We're gonna set it to the side over here. So right now, what you want to do is make sure that you are creating a new avatar animation. You're going to click on create, and there you can see that you have a new avatar package, an active package to specify the animation field. What we're going to do is go on the screen again. So this name is actually the name that's going to be prompted in the spatial UI where you select all of your reactions. Be sure to give it something that you can like know the difference between a custom animation and the other. Once we do that, we hit enter. We can see the prefab field here, and there we're gonna drag the zombie screen prefab and drop it and drop it. Mhm. So the next thing that we want to do is actually test this before we actually publish it. So the only thing that we're missing is actually a thumbnail, but we can test it before assigning one. Let's just go ahead and test this. I do want to do like a quick footnote. At this point, you do gotta make sure that you are logged in with your Creator Toolkit account. To do that, it's real easy. So what you're gonna do is go over to your spatial profile. Once you're logged in, you should be able to, in your profile, go to your studio. And in your account, you're gonna copy the clipboard using this little button right here. And whatever is copied to your clipboard, you're going to paste in this second step right here. So after you've done that, you should be able to go ahead and test the active package, which you're going to make sure that is the avatar animation zombie script. We're going to test active package, make sure that the last browser that you are actively in is the one that has the login info for your spatial account. Because if not, it'll probably prompt you an error. So we we're now waiting for it to come out and upload. Oh, and I'm looking at the chat to see if there's any questions. Chat, yeah. Like you're gonna see Haikun looking all zombie like real soon. Like I said, the first time that you're testing something or opening a new scene, it'll take a little bit, but after the first time, it'll be fairly quick. And another thing that you can actually do to optimize this a little bit more is to, if you're actually only building inside of the spatial island example folder, you can go ahead and delete all the other example. Sorry. And it should maybe like it shouldn't compile those anymore. Yeah, that's something I do for our special builds. For this, it shouldn't be any problems. So you can see that everything finished um, uploading. We're just waiting for it to load. So So right now, this is the current avatar that I have assigned to the account. And as you can see, since we're uploading an emote, you can see the play custom emote button right here. And if you hit it, you should be able to see your avatar do in this case, the zombie spin. That's pretty cool. I like it. So once you know that this is all working as it should, go ahead and close this, go back to your editor, and now back in the configuration tab inside of the spatial portal window, we can go ahead and input the missing field for our package, which is the thumbnail. So since we're now using Blender, normally in Blender we would just export an image on the resolution that we need it, but you can just simply go ahead and go to the Mixamo page again and use your snipping tool. Do like a little square so you can see the, the image. You can save it. I'm gonna actually save this document on the screen. You do want to go to paint to make sure that the dimensions are the ones that we need, which are 1024 by 1024. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. We're gonna open this. We're gonna hit resize pixels, and here we can pick 1024 and 1024. Okay, so make sure that this checkbox isn't checked because it won't allow you to put the same, like put it squared. So it'll always maintain the ratio. So after you hit OK, go ahead and save the changes. And now we should be able to go into our Unity set scene again, drag the thumbnail over with no errors. This should just go in and we are good to go. Double check the name, and if everything checks out, go ahead and publish, continue, and that's that. You have successfully uploaded a custom emote for any um, avatar that you might have on at any given time in space. This set, it actually only works if you're in a computer, because in mobile devices you can actually see the custom emotes on your UI. You could maybe have like a prefab object or like in the inside of the build itself have the ability to maybe override a button, but that's up to the creator and everything. But if you're on your computer, you have full access to everything that you do custom for your profile. But yeah, after we've done this, we gotta actually wait for it to publish. But while we wait for that to publish, we're going to go ahead and go a little bit more berserk to quote a friend of mine. So if the now we're going to get a haiku, the haiku that I mentioned at the beginning, and we're going to zombify that haiku. But before that, Lord, nice, nice chat. Like we're gonna be doing workshops with Rod monthly, so and so any questions that you have, we could definitely like hop into one, tune into one, and, and ask away. That's awesome. So okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do, we're going to create a whole new folder, and this is going named Zombie Hyper. And it Ooh, sorry. Just got out of a little cold. Actually, it wasn't a little cold, it was COVID. And plus the dab, plus a little dry throat. Yeah. But a little bit of water always helps. So let's go ahead, go into our zombie Hycoon folder. In our zombie Hycoon folder, I'm actually going to get an asset from another one of our scenes. So as I told you at the beginning, I already prepared this avatar for it to be compliant with at least the world parameters for spatial. But the only thing that I'm going to be using is the model itself, not any of the components that make it a custom avatar. So you will be seeing how to how to specify and to create a custom avatar, or at least assign all the needed components for this. I'm just gonna go ahead and wait for that to open. Come on. Oh, this is where you put in the edit moments later. Okay, so once we have this, the model that I want is wait. So actually, these are all custom avatars, objects, animation. Animation's not much, but mostly avatars. This one, I want this one. That. So let's actually use this to learn a little bit too. So if you actually have something that you want to use in one scene and use it in another, the best thing to do is to actually make a prefab of it and just take the prefab completely to the other scene. So to do a prefab, you just gotta drag the folder or the parent or the game object that you want from your hierarchy over to your project window, and that's where it becomes with the blue hue on the letters. I want this one, but I feel that I'm gonna get an error with the materials, so we'll see. And actually, no, and just get the prefab. So you actually need to do a prefab, but you gotta take the whole folder, which contains the model, which is reference of the prefab. So let's go ahead, and I lost it. It was full spec, full platform. Wait, there we go. So it's HC full spec. So these are the struggles of life and having so many files. Wait, it was HC. Yeah, HC full spec. Haha. So we're gonna drag the whole folder over to the new editor. See, I knew I was gonna get the error with the materials, but I should be able to, since I have the model, extract them again. So if I just extract the textures, boom, and then extract the materials, and you're gonna have to import it. Yeah, boom, there we go. So you might get this little notification right here. This is just because you're re-importing the normal maps, and this is just to fix it. Just click fix now, and you're good to go. So going back to what we just did, I wanted to get one of my models that I know for a fact that I have in another Unity scene over to a new one. So I just, by the way, I just got the notification that the Zombie Scream custom emote that we just did has published. So we're gonna be able to see it later once we test this out. That's cool. Um, so yeah, once if you want to do that, the only thing that you have to make sure is that you have all of the main components of the object. So in this case, I wanted to export and import this model of Haikun. I needed to get all of the objects inside of that folder over. So I just literally dragged and dropped it. But we did see that some, or in this case, all of the materials were missing because they're actually on another folder uh, inside of this other scene. But since you made sure that you have the main object, you can just go ahead and since everything is inside contained of this model, you can just go ahead and extract the textures and materials, and it should all fall into place. And since we said that we only need the model, this is more than enough. So you don't need the prefab, so you can just go ahead and delete it. You have all of the other textures. So what we're gonna be doing right now is to tidy this up. I'm going to create a folder for my materials because or at least for not for the materials, but for the material textures. So there are quite a few. So texture, texture. This is it. Oh, drag and drop it over here. I'm not gonna hide the materials just yet because I do feel that I'm gonna have to adjust for the metalness and the roughness. So that we're just gonna go ahead and get our model all the way over here. Hey, it's AMG. We're actually not gonna need him for this, so we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna unpack the prefab completely. I'm hearing a clap. Does anybody have a question? Who clap? Ah, awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here again. So I forgot that this model actually had an AMG, but we don't need him. So we're just gonna go ahead and delete him. And like I said, if you want, anytime that you import something from your project window into your scene, it's gonna go as a prefab. It's gonna treat it as a prefab. So if you wanna change anything, be that add something to like parent something to your object or get something out or delete it, you're gonna have to unpack the prefab, or else it's gonna apply it to the main one that you because it's related to it if it's still a prefab. So once you do that, you do that by unpacking it completely like I did. Like this prefab, and it should be grayed out, and then you can modify it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and see, like I told you, the materials are all stock, so it doesn't actually have the fur texture or anything. I don't like that, so we're gonna fix that real quick. I'm gonna go over this fairly quick because I go over this in detail on the first workshop that we did with Rob out. So if you guys wanna check that one out, it's actually in the YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. It was pretty dope. I don't see my fur texture, and that's because I actually remember that I had it. Ah, where am I texture? So this is actually I have it's a pretty I would say basic because it's not for hardcore gaming, but it does have an AMG. Um, wait. I have it. I have it. It's that you know what? I'm just gonna pop out the specs. Not bad. I don't remember this by heart. Aha. So it has a Ryzen 5 processor. It's a six core. It has 32 RAM, 32 gigabytes of RAM. I do know that it has an AMG. Wait, I have a Radeon RX 6600 graphics card. But yeah, that's about it. It doesn't have anything other than that, and it runs Unity pretty well. So yeah, I haven't had any trouble launching with spatial or actually launching in Unity's custom uh, in-house Unity Play. So yeah. But yeah, if there are any other questions, we're gonna hop back in. So I was saying that I don't like seeing haiku so plain, and I'm just gonna go ahead and fix the materials real quick. This goes here, this goes here, and these are the links. Remember that any type of permission that you do on your objects or your scene or your avatars, be sure to set them to base. Mm, the drama. No, it's not how I wanted to show. It's good enough. Okay, so once you have your materials all set up, wait, next one, sorry about that. Okay, once you have that all set up, you have your avatar model ready to go. You're gonna want to go and click your high level object, which is the parent object to your whole model. We're gonna add a component, and it's going to be a spatial avatar component. Leave that on set. And this is what I was talking about with Mo. Spatial now lets you override the default animations for you to be running, jogging, jumping, or like how you fall, how you sit. So you could actually have a completely custom avatar that that moves as you want it inside of space. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do an idle, a walk, a jog, run, overrides because for the others it's fairly the same. So it's actually the same. Just do the same thing we do for these for the others. So yeah, after you have your avatar set up, go ahead now. Actually, I'm going to group all of the material inside of a folder because I don't have any. I won't be doing anything else with it. So select them and drag it to a folder. Okay. Um, by the way, do note that we haven't We do have the avatar component set up, but we haven't made this a prefab yet. Be sure to always have everything that you need in your avatar, parented, added, or however it is, before you turn it into a prefab. And if you do need to change something, get that prefab from your project window into your hierarchy and unpack it. Once you do that, you still have the old one, and you can then modify the the one that you unpacked to get the updated version. But yeah, but I'm seeing some activity in the chat. I tell you, you're kind of stuff. I actually got into Unity as Spatial released its toolkit, and it does have a learning curve, but Spatial with all of the custom scripting that they're doing, it does help a lot because you don't have to code. You just gotta know how everything behaves with everything, I guess. And I know that doesn't sound less complicated, but it does help lower the curve a little bit. But yeah. Once you have this set up, we're gonna go ahead and go over to Mixamo now. And in Mixamo, we are going to look for our wait, that's not it. We're going to look for our idle, our walk, our jog, and our run animation. So we're gonna start with the idle one. And so once you put zombie, since we're gonna zombify Haikun, you can see all the zombie animations related to it. So we can see here that this one's an idle, but this one's a little bit jittery. I like this one better. Pixel for this. What is this? Okay, okay. I'm just not. I think it's gonna be like that. So remember, like we did for the custom emote at the in the first part, we're gonna download this. Keep the skin because I have noticed that if you only download the skeleton, at least in Blender, it does download differently, or at least it behaves differently. At least that's been my experience. So be sure to download the whole package, and like we saw on the first part, we can just extract the animation that we need. So remember, format FBX for Unity with the skin, with everything as is. We're gonna download that, and we're gonna leave it for a while. Then we'll move it for the other one. So the other one was walking, I think. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's like a zombie walk. Oh, yep, there is. I thought it was just straight up running. So we're gonna get this one. We're gonna hunt for a little. So by the way, this is actually pretty cool with Mixamo. It has a lot of different animations that you can choose from, and you can actually customize them and like to your liking or to your need. Now Haikun's got little legs. This makes more sense. So we're gonna download it. Make sure that it's for Unity with skin. Download. So we got the idle, we got the walk, and we need the run. And zombie run would be this is one. This one seems a little bit more threatening. Oh, yeah, oh shit. Yeah. Okay. So I like that one for the running. make sure all the settings are as they should be. By the way, the settings should not change unless you change them or you log out. Or I don't know if you actually close the window and go back in, but I do like unless you go out of the window, the settings won't change. But still make make certain that everything is like as it should. So we actually have all of our animations, but I do want to check for it. Mm, okay. Okay. So a zombie is not gonna sit down. A zombie is gonna lie down. So should be able to. That could be kind of more. Hmm, I'm just gonna look for down. I don't know. For a second, I thought about doing the zombie eating on the floor animation as the sit animation, but I think that would be a little bit too too morbid, I guess. We'll check it out for later. Uh, I don't know. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and do those four. So once you have all of the animations that you want to overwrite, go ahead and fetch them from your downloads folder or wherever you um, downloaded them to. So it's the zombie running, the walking, the idle. Was there one more? I don't know. Was those three? The zombies, and I thought it was four. Uh, the jog and the run. We got to. Come on. Come on, let me. I mean, a jog could be a slower run, right? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and import the new one, which is actually was running too, but should be the latest one. So it's for it's this one. Okay. So once you have all the animations that you want, go ahead and go one by one. Click on them on the project window. Go over to rig, hit humanoid, and apply. The same for the other one. Once you do that, you can make sure like we are sure that the animations are considered humanoid as well. So we're going to go one by one again. Hit on the little arrow right here. We're gonna export or extract the animation. So we're gonna do that by selecting the animation, which is the little triangle, and we're gonna hit Control and D, and that should extract it to your folder. We'll go ahead and close the little arrow, and we're gonna do the same for the other one. Could be a little bit confusing because like I just did this. Like I just opened up the first one and like for a second I didn't know where the other ones went. So take your time with this. Could be a little frustrating, like at first. And this is the last. So since I already have the animations out of their respective models, I only need to actually, in my case, make sure which is the slower running one and the fast one. Do that. So this is the slower one. So this is zombie. That is zombie. At this point, you can go ahead and rename the animations as you need so that it doesn't confuse you. Let's go ahead and create a new folder. And here we're gonna go ahead and maybe call this master animations. We're gonna, or original animations, we're just gonna uh, put the the main models away. If anything should happen with the ones that we extracted, be it that we accidentally deleted or something, we can go ahead and go into the master folder and extract them again. So once you have your animations, you have to go one by one and make sure that loop time is checked. What this does is that it makes sure that once you keep pressing going forward, the animation keeps looping and it doesn't just do it once and it just stops and shows the avatar like standing and moving. So one by one, enable the loop time. After you've done that, go over to the avatar that you have prepared and we can go ahead and start dropping the that we want to override. So for the idle, we want the zombie idle or the walk we want. Wait, let me just make sure that this is the one. For the walk, for the walking one, for the jog. Okay. So after you've done this, you are basically ready to turn your game object into a prefab. Then you just go ahead and this is going to be hyphen. We're going to drag our game object over to our folder, and there you're going to see that it created an instance of the hole that I have here, and it actually turned it blue. So that's how we know that it successfully turned it into a prefab. And you can actually see if I have it selected, it'll say not prefab. So we can now go to the spatial portal um, window. We can go ahead and create an avatar. I hit create. This is going to be zombie tycoon. We're gonna drag our avatar over here. In this case, it can't be universal because it doesn't meet the requirements, so it's a world avatar. We're gonna set this to animal, and we still don't want to publish it. We gotta test it first, so we can leave this blank for now. After you have all the other fields filled out, you can go ahead and test the active package. We should be able to also see the zombie screen emote that we did in the first part. So it's gonna be pretty cool because we're gonna have a zombie like moving tycoon that's gonna be also doing a zombie stream. Okay. Just wait for it to upload. By the way, a friendly reminder, it is 4:10 EST. So anybody that shares the EST time zone, get ready. Here we can see a little zombified tycoon, all jittery, being idle and all. And if we move, you can wait a minute, I don't want this. And if we move, you can see that it moves slowly up there. But if we run, it'll get ya. So if you wanted to go a little bit more berserk, you could get a custom animation for when it jumps, when it double jumps and all that, and it'll be a full zombie going through the metaverse. But once we know that all of this is working, wait, we didn't I didn't test the screen animation, but it should load up fairly quick now. Okay, there we go. So we know that everything works, the other ones, but we do want to see the new one. So to look for the custom emotes that you publish, you can go ahead and the computer go to your reactions, and under all reactions, you're going to be able to see all of the dance moves that you have unlocked and all of the dance moves that you have dance moves and custom movements that you have published. So here we have the zombie scream, and you can see the little hydrant is a little bit pissed. Ah, but always with his blunt, never without it. Like override your movement. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So you can do it multiple ways. If you do it, if you want to go the route of changing somebody into an avatar like we do with Haikun, you could actually have this avatar with all of the overrides already done, and the person would just drive the avatar how it is. Another way that you could do it is inside of the build itself. You could do a collider that and put a trigger that if anybody is inside of it, maybe the movements are overridden by a visual scripting. Or you could just go ahead and maybe do a UI that pops up whenever you enter the dance floor, and it has a little dance button, and that dance button can then be visual scripted to play the custom dance mode. It could be done a couple different ways. Hope that answers your question. Okay, awesome. So wait, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna finish publishing this, and I think like Danny told me that we've been at it for like an hour and 20, hour and 30 or almost. Huh? Ah, una hora. We've only been at it for an hour, so we can go ahead and do the experiment. If that's okay, by the way. We good? Ooh. So what you're saying, what you're saying to me is a quick, a little break. Okay. Yes, that will be dope. That, that would be dopeness. I didn't know that you had set up that with Danny and everything, so that's dope. Okay. So before you wrap this live up, let me just go ahead and finish publishing the avatar with the custom animations, all of that. So it's like the full video until the end. Sound good? Okay, so this is the thumbnail for the avatar. Remember, so avatars actually have to be 1024, 1024 as well. If I'm not mistaken, so don't be cool thumbnail. Then open it. Okay, that is it. Check that. Pay no mind to how this looks. This is only for you. Like the only person that's gonna see this thumbnail is you. So as long as you can identify what it is inside of your profile, you're good. Save that. Drag it over here. Okay, so it has to be there. In that case, can I actually save this? If not, okay, so this actually has to be transparent. So either you run it through a converter, or if you already have the thumbnail somewhere else, that either way helps you identify it. For this, so for this, I'm gonna get this, which I know for a fact that works. So it is the right resolution, 1024 by 1024, but it absolutely needs a transparent background. And paint or any snipping tool, I don't think they'll give you that. So keep that in mind. Um, this should work now. As far as transparency, now we can see it's transparent. Danny is hitting 420. Ooh, Danny just told me he's gonna prepare my 420 as I'm finishing it. That right there, that's gold. You see? You see? Uh, that's a hell of a partner. Uh, that actually brings not PTSD, but also like memories from the venting for Haiku. We were like what, like 24, 30 something hours straight, like straight typing in the computer and barely eating, not sleeping. And every time we dab, we needed to dab. Like it was like there's not a second to waste. So if I was like on the computer typing or something in the code, he was preparing the dab. I would take the dab and then he would continue designing or something. So it was like it was pretty cool. But yeah, so once this finishes loading, it'll publish the package, and that would be that. You have successfully overwritten your avatar emotes. I will now be taking a step back from the keyboard to take my full training. So please give me a sec.
Hola. Hola. Hi. not speak English. Okay, bye. Hi.
It is good to that.
for how you can create custom movements for your avatars, and this is something that they are trying right now so that we can see how you can see these different ways and try to start using all the different things that you've been learning to put it together, figure it out, and get things done. I see we've got a lot of people here enjoying it. I appreciate everyone that's here with us or watching wherever you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you're at, whether it's now or the replay. We hope you're enjoying this, learning a lot, and coming to the metaverse because they're here building and looking for those that are enjoying this information. So I will let the high creators take it over again, and everyone enjoy. Drop your questions in the chat if you have any, and yeah, let's get it.
Awesome. So, what's up, everybody? This is actually a kind of experimental video, and we say experimental because I haven't myself tried to do custom animations. That's the way that we're going to be doing them here. So, the video that we did last, we got the animations already done from Mixamo, and we just imported them and applied them basically to our profile or to our avatars. But what if you wanted to, for example, you have your Ready Player Me, you have your Haikun, or any other character that of your preference that you have rigged with Mixamo, for example, provided you have a humanoid uh, skeleton. And in Blender, you actually manage to do a custom walk cycle or do a little custom wave or a dance that's specific to your character because you made it from scratch. You would also love to have that usable in spatial. So that's what we're going to try to do today. We're going to do it really simple. We're going to be creating, I don't know, something like a wave or like a custom emote to prove the concept that we can extract anything that we animate in Blender, or mostly anything that we can animate in Blender using a humanoid rig, and translate it to Unity and apply everything that we did in the last video. So yeah, without much without much ado, that's so for this one you're gonna need Blender. So I'm using Blender 3.4. There is actually 3.5, if I'm not mistaken, or 3.5.1, and it's actually pretty powerful. I haven't downloaded it yet because e- I have the 3.4 version already optimized with my hotkeys, with my shortcuts, and I could translate it over to the 3.5, but I really want to do a deep dive with 3.5. But that's the second. So okay, what we want to do is, and by the way, I'm gonna go almost kind of full speed, mostly with how I do things, but I will try to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing. So if anybody has any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask or drop it in the chat. So I'm gonna start with a Haikun that I know I have already optimized, and that is over. Yeah, wait. So every time that I switch or I guess duplicate files from one Blender file to another, I almost every time like to use the append feature because it'll import it to your current scene as you left it in the original scene. So right now I wanted to import uh, a Haikun that I had prepared for Mixamo, and I actually launched it through Unity. But I don't remember if I have it all under a collection or if I have it under an armature. Either way, it's preferred if you have multiple objects defining the thing that you want to input to have it inside of a collection, because that way you ensure that everything is uh, imported correctly. Because if not, maybe something that is inside of your armature could get left behind because it wasn't parented or inside of the folder that it needed to be exported or related to the armature. So what I'm gonna do here is make sure that I have the item that I want under a collection. That way I only import the whole collection. And that was actually somewhere here. Um, and actually for this, I think this is sufficient. This is a full plate collaboration that we did with Expo. So, wait. I know I have, I know I have something a little bit more exotic. That where so here you can see me and my messy glory of Blender files. But I do know what everything is and how everything is mostly. You just gotta trust me on that. You know what? We're gonna do the we're gonna do the full plate one. But I don't. Oh wait, no, yes, I know where they are, and they're actually fine. And mm, they were actually in the Typhoon for men. Where is Typhoon for men? Thank you. And if not, honestly, we're gonna go back to the first one. Yep, yep. I think it's this one. Hmm. Okay, so you see, right now, if I select all of the hierarchy of the armature, I do get the Hyphoon that I want. But if I only append the armature, the only thing that is going to be imported into my new game would be the skeleton. So to make sure that I have everything under the armature, I'm just going to go ahead and left right click this, new collection, going to create a new collection somewhere. Aha, this one. So rename it. And you rename it something that you can identify when you're looking through the folder. So we're literally gonna put item for workshop, and it'll be the only thing referring to a workshop file. So I'm gonna make sure that's this one. I'm gonna drag it. Wait, yeah, drag it, and you see that we actually have one of the weapons outside of the armature, so it was gonna be a whole mess. So now we make sure that everything is under one collection. Make sure to save it, and it shouldn't be a problem since you haven't changed anything actually out of your file. You just reorganize something here. Like you can go ahead and close it, and in the new one, delete all faithful cube. I'm gonna go and append. And by the way, each time that this little window appears, it's me pressing Q. And actually, wait, I have a tool for this. Okay, so you should now be able to see all my button clicks over here. So each time that this little window appears, it's me hitting Q, and those are my shortcuts that I've prepared. So for those of you who don't know how a pen works, you just go to File, a pen. And if you want to begin doing the shortcuts, you just hit right click and and you're gonna add to quick favorites. For me, it says remove because I already have it. But yeah, I'm gonna pen, gonna look for my file, which I know for a fact is, and we're gonna go inside collections, and if we look for workshop, there we go. Double click it, and here we should have everything referring to our model from textures to materials to precision to skeleton. It's a literal copy of the model in this Blender file. So after you've done that, I actually don't need this or this. I actually don't need that. So I'm just actually gonna do like a quick and simple animation, maybe I don't know, a wave, I guess. Nothing too complicated, just some basic animations that we can then export and make usable as an animation in stage. So what I have here is actually a Haikun that is already decimated, already optimized to work inside of spatial, and the skeleton that you see here is generated by Mixable. So we know that it's a humanoid rig with all of the bones necessary for Unity to recognize that it's a human. And since it's already parented and rigged to our model, we should be able to, in pose mode, go ahead and move our skeleton bones and record those keyframes and export them as an animation. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go with I'm already in pose mode. You can go into pose mode by selecting your skeleton and over here in the drop down select pose mode. Thing is, we might be seeing an animation that whenever we activate it might go from any state that it's in, for example. It doesn't matter. It's the same with the way. Yeah, okay. Ignore what I said. So I don't know. So if we wanted to, if we want this to be the idle state or the start of the animation, we would just click on this phone because we wanted to do something like I don't know, this. But it's flipping a little bit here. But, we can forgive that. This is not gonna be a perfect animation. So after we do that, we want to maybe go like this 3 times before going back to 0. Okay, okay, so all of that was to maybe map out the movement that I'm gonna be recreating. At least for the hand that's gonna be waving. So okay, so we're gonna start with this one with the location and relation at what is supposed to be 0. Yeah, and you know what? I don't like I don't like working with this Worktanium. This actually like for I still haven't figured out how this one works, but it adds a another value to the rotation, not just XYZ. So I just like to work with the normal XYZ. And guys, give me 1 second because my iPad is gonna die. That's actually where I'm speaking from. By the way, I put this to charge, if there's any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. My iPad is burning. Still, okay, we're plugged in. So yeah, I just didn't change the other one. You know what? It's okay. The only ones are gonna be using are these. So change one location animation, starting the animation like that. So I'm gonna mark each of these. I'm going to raise and then raise it a little bit. This one be what I'm trying to recreate what would be like a motion, the motion of somebody actually like putting their arm up, give you away. Like, let me see. Okay, that looks decent. Okay, so after that, maybe this one would be, nope, that actually got the whole. I think I need to rotate this one a little bit. Actually, good thing. Rotate the other one. Okay, okay. So remember to put those keyframes in. Let's see how it looks. I mean, not bad. Okay, okay. So up until now, this is how it's looking. So kind of blocky, but bear with me. So once we have it up here, we will go side to side. So maybe let's do, I don't know, both sides. Oh, wait, wait. Here, location, and rotation. This one, what we're going to do is add 12. 12? We're going to then go back. Supposed to be 0. Nope. What happened? Come on. Lashing a little bit of fur. That's okay. And that is. Haha. That's it. So let's see how that looks. Okay. Not gonna complain. Well, it looks kind of cool. And we make sure that he doesn't have any fur. Okay. Let me just see how. So now with that, we have that. We gotta make sure that it cycles maybe 2 times and then goes back down. So to do that, um, duplicate. Okay. So this is 38, 48, like exactly 10 frames. And this has to go in 50. So it's next. Right. After that, we can actually put the hand down. So that way, we're gonna make the same. Um, so we have to do this stabilize the cookie. Let's see how that looks. Okay. So by the way, I added this one because while the hand is waving, this one is actually static. So if I delete this, it'll automatically begin to transition to this one without staying still while you wait. So, if let's see if I book it again. So here, I would actually begin forward. Maybe to because we gotta leave it the same way that it began. Actually, we have we actually know where it began. So it's 0, 0, 0. Yep, because it's going back where it was. So we should be able to, if we set this, what's the last? It's 80. We set the end to 80. We should be able to see a loop of sorts. Aha! I mean, not bad, not bad. We definitely will know if it's our animation. So okay, now that we have that, this is where the actual uh depth of the experiment is gonna take place because this is where the export part comes in. Because we could do this, I could do this a couple different ways. Uh, Obviously, one more complicated than the other. But we're gonna try the easiest first, always. So that would be we have all of the animation set. Wait. I actually wanted to do because I don't want it to look too weird. So that's gonna be the rest thing. Wait, these are gonna be our starting points. And I want it to and I'm not gonna try this. These are oh, come on, wait. So I did the same mistake that I always catch myself doing, which is rearranging the bones without having first moved the timelines. Gonna have to do that again. Sorry about that. So I wanted as soon as this. So so this was 9. I don't know if it's 10, but it's not. And log on these plays back to the position of this. So they have to be in the same position for that moment and finish at 0. We, yeah, that was me trying to mimic like the way animation that the spatial has and put the feet together and like the other way. So, okay. I think I'm gonna animate this hand a little bit, and after that we can call it a day with the animation and begin exporting. So my apologies because I did say that the experimental part was gonna begin, but I got sidetracked. But anyway, let me do this real quick. This is gonna be a fairly simple animation because I just want to go again. At a little shoulder, not too much. Stay like that. So, what happened? Ouch. Okay. For that is zero. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So, okay, so this would be a very good time to just hit that save cylinder file button. And we have done work. Uh, so this will be custom um, cylinder. Okay. If, okay. So now we have everything saved. We have our animation set, loop, and it's actually a pretty good loop. It's 3 seconds. That's pretty good. Okay, so now begins the part. I'm gonna select everything in my hierarchy. We're gonna export this. We're gonna do it as an FPS. These settings are pretty much standard for importing anything into Unity or Spatial. We're gonna do face. Okay, so these are gonna be the key settings to correctly export and be able to use our animation. So the armature for most, I think the armature is less than the big animation itself because the armature is only referring to the orientation and, and how the bones are actually set up. And that's actually pretty standard. We don't have any much to say in that. So we're gonna look at the big animation. So we're gonna just like export it as it is, like with the default animation settings, and see how that treats us in Unity. So do look for your folder wherever you want to save it. Uh, so this is gonna be the save, save. We're gonna take advantage that this is already open. We are going to do a new folder, and this will be Blender Anime test. Inside of it, we're going to drop our recent export. We have. If we click on it and go over to the inspector, we actually can see in the animation tab that there is something. If we play it, it seems to be working. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Okay, so first thing that we have to do, specify the humanoid aspect of the skeleton. We should have no problems, and we have no problems. And now we should see the animation as we did in on the first part of the workshop. So if we click on it and then hit Control D, we can export it from the model. This is good. This is good progress. So hmm, we're gonna do two things. We are going to make this an emote, and we're gonna do an avatar override. The avatar override, I'm not gonna publish it. I'm just gonna test it out. But I am gonna publish the way just cause. Okay, so we're gonna first do an empty game object. We're gonna call this wave emote. Facial is V1. Avatar animation component. We're gonna drag our animation. Click. But actually, you know what? It's gonna be is Tycoon Wave. That's the name. Tycoon Wave. And once we have Tycoon Wave, we can set as a prefab. We're gonna go over here, avatar animation, create one, and Tycoon Wave. Remember that this is the name that will be visible for you once you can select it in the UI. Uh, Wave prefab. Let's test it. By the way, thank you to everyone that's been here, like watching this. It's been really dope. So props to you too. Okay, let's wait for this to load up. Aha! So we should be able to see what was the emote that we were doing. The wait. Aha! We did it! So you see the weird transition that it does, since not everything was set up to be kind of human-like. It just goes back to the default pose. So if you're gonna be doing your default or your custom animations for spatial for your avatars, make sure that at least the transitions are a little bit seamless in that way, or you're gonna be getting the this like oh shit. So the wave, each time that you do the wave, it'll get you out of your normal pose and just strike your feet up together. And that's the same thing that's gonna happen with this one, but it's gonna first stick you into a pose because the other ones weren't animated. But yeah, like I'd say that this was a successful uh, experiment. Like we did it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and publish that one, and now we're gonna overwrite the avatar with it. That one is the one that I'm gonna only test. So, I'm over here. So I'm here. Since I already have Blender open, I'm gonna take advantage of that and actually do the thumbnail for the emote. And I don't really mind how it is with the lighting and everything because this is only something that I'm gonna be able to see, and I was actually gonna do it with so wait, thumbnail. Go over to your editor again. drag it into a field. We should have no issues. We do not have any issues. I'm just gonna publish the amount. And while that processes, I'm just gonna go and do a custom avatar real quick that has the emotes built in. And you know what? I'm gonna do it so that it's always doing the wave if it's idle. So every time that you see how it's going, it's gonna be like waving at you. This, but like this isn't one that I'm gonna be publishing yet, so it's gonna be for a test. This is sure. Yeah, we have a prefab. Get over here. Let's test it. Oh, anyway, that's the issue. Ah, okay. So that's something actually I forgot to specify on the last video. The override, I didn't specify, but we did do it. The the animation that you're gonna be using for any of the overrides has to be set for loop time. Just check that box and you should be good to go. So I don't wanna mess up any of the other components I already set up here. So add this, now I can delete this. Still have to save measures. How should be good for check for the issues. Ah. Okay, so apparently you can't upload even to the sandbox an avatar that doesn't have all the fields. So we do have this. I'm just gonna use it this one. Aha. Let's test it. So with this, once it loads, we have successfully exported an animation made from scratch in Blender and used it to power a an avatar in Unity. And by the way, we also successfully overrid the the animation in space. So I actually set this one the wait animation that we did so that it's always being activated while it's in idle. So every time that you're not touching your avatar and it's not moving, it'll just be waving at everybody. But yeah, ooh, and I actually think it's the other one that's published. And here you can see the other one that just published. So we have everything nailed down. The experiment more than successful, I'd say.
Successful. Wow, what a great workshop today. Again, I know I've said it 100 times, but I swear I'll probably say it 100 more because we are super grateful for you guys taking the time to come, show us, and teach us. I love how we all were in the chat, talking about how as you start learning, you kind of get deterred and kind of not even want to look at this. Even myself, I'm like, I've downloaded Unity, but I'm not even ready to I got to start with how to connect it to space, show my whole YouTube playlist for everything that I have to do. But we have to just do it. And when we have a community like this where it's say, hey, we can get together, we're going to learn together, and those that have figured out certain things are going to look back and help those get to that next step is so important. So I definitely appreciate you guys for taking the time to do that. You guys are building amazing things yourself, and I think it just helps the whole metaverse community, as we all get stronger together. So thank you again for coming and sharing. Did anybody have any questions for the high creators before we left? Thoughts, questions, or concerns? I know we have a fashion show that we're going to be planning for next season, and we're thinking about doing kind of like a few different workshops so that people can actually like see this workshop, go do it, and then come back until they kind of get a finished product, and then we'll showcase it in like a fashion show style kind of thing. So and aside from that, we have had a few other requests like a workshop to see how to make an object play music. I think somebody has asked you guys individually, but if anybody that's watching has any tutorials that you want to watch or workshops that you want to have, make sure you drop it in the comments. Join our Discord, let us know, and we would definitely try to get it done. And is there anything else that the high creators wanted to mention before we left? I see Shay said thanks a lot for the workshop. Anytime. Thanks for being here. But yeah, anything else you guys wanted to say before we left?
So, I just wanted to thank you and thank everybody that tuned in or will watch this at some point. It's really satisfying, like being able to transmit all the knowledge that has been acquired with this, because we've ourselves been growing with Unity and Spatial as they have been, because I hadn't touched Unity until Spatial announced the Creator Toolkit, and as you have your playlist on YouTube, I have playlists for Blender for specific topics, for Unity. Like I have all of them, and if I say that I've watched maybe like a quarter of them, I'd be lying. It's mostly like just rough it out, kind of like go through the docs. But it's a journey, but it's all those satisfying once you figure it out. And for anybody that is like wanting a specific tutorial, like Picasso mentioned, like for sure, drop it in the comments. Like I myself can say that I've been possibly through every error or through every headache working with the SDK and Unity itself. So I'm glad to alleviate or even avoid like having you avoid those headaches if I can. So yeah, like I don't know what else to say, but thank you.
Sorry, yes, that was great enough. We definitely appreciate you guys for being here. And as you guys hear, this is not going to be the last. So just make sure you stay tuned. Follow them on social media so you can see what they have going on, because they have a lot more in store. Every Thursday, they also get together and actually explore their space or different spaces. So like I said, follow us, follow them, and stay tuned. Peace.